All right, nebulous negotiations. President Trump says an agreement with Iran has largely been negotiated, but new reports suggest that serious disagreements persist between the two sides. So are we closer to peace or pandemonium?
Very good question. Joining me now is former NSC Chief of Staff for the Trump administration, Fred Fleitz. Also with us is retired Lieutenant Colonel for the U.S. Army and author of Veritas Vincent, Darin Gaub. Great to have you both here. We are at this pinnacle point. Fred, I'll start with you on this because we are inching towards a deal, according to President Trump. But are we in fact close to a deal, or does this seem like Iran's playbook? They kick the can down the road, they stall. Are we any closer to a deal?
It seems like it is a deal in principle to cease hostilities, to free the Strait of Hormuz, to give some gradual sanctions relief, and to begin negotiations on other issues. That's something many of us, including myself, have been calling for some time. The problem is the Iranian government is divided, and we're hearing from the Revolutionary Guard that they don't want Iran to give up control of the Strait of Hormuz, and that Iran won't do that. We're going to find out over the next few hours what the story is, whether whatever it is that President Trump announced, whether the Iranian government will actually live up to this deal. If not, I think there's going to be a return to hostilities. But I do think our negotiators have made progress. Let's just hope this holds up.
That's the thing. Plan B could be around the corner here, too.
Yeah, Darin, just on that point, you know, there were concerns, people within the media zone who were preparing for the worst over this weekend in case this deal did not go ahead. And, you know, we know that the Strait of Hormuz and the uranium enrichment are the two biggest issues, really, for the Trump administration. And if Iran will not let go of them, what may happen? Because we have to keep our eye on this over the next few hours. As Marco Rubio said, we could be hearing something, and there is concern that there, as Fred said, will be a return to hostilities.
Yes, sir. Hopefully not. But again, like you said, those are the two things that still stick out that are frankly non-negotiable on both sides. And in the end, the only way to overcome the Iranian desire to control the strait and to maintain the nuclear program is to overwhelm them with force again in some capacity. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's go in and obliterate every single electrical infrastructure segment and other things throughout the nation of Iran, but it could mean sending another message again that Iran has been militarily defeated, and they should acknowledge that. But now we're in a phase where we have to keep waking them up and say, hey, listen, you're not going to get these two things. It's like waiting for that last 1% of your TV connecting to a satellite. It gets to 0 to 99 quickly. That's most of the negotiations.
Is there any possibility there, though, Darin? Any possibility that Trump will sort of acquiesce on those two issues at all?
I hope not, in principle, but there may be something that his team considers worth it to acquiesce in some form. But I do not think the Gulf nations would be very happy if we said, yeah, the strait is yours. That's not really our decision to give them in the first place. And the nuclear threat would still be the same in this case, and that's something that they've used to bully their neighbors.
And speaking of,
I hope he holds his ground on this.
And speaking of that, the enriched uranium is the big issue here for President Trump. He claims that he doesn't need it, they don't want it, we don't want it. But I mean, Fred, how important is that as part of this deal, that the enriched uranium? Because we know that Iran is going to go right back to their same playbook. They obviously want a nuclear weapon. How important is that we get that enriched uranium out of Iran?
Look, I've studied this for a long time for the CIA and the State Department. I have a different view on this. Let's leave that enriched uranium in the ground. It's in the form of uranium hexafluoride. It's highly toxic. It's probably leaking. I'd like to see us bomb the heck out of it. And if Iran tries to dig it up, we'll bomb them. I don't think Iran's going to hand it over. And I don't want our soldiers risking their lives to conduct a hazmat excavation, dig this stuff up. We may have to have a situation where we're going to say to Iran, we don't care what you say. You can't have a nuclear program. If you try to rebuild it, we'll blow up every facility you have. They don't have any nuclear facilities now. Even if they dug this stuff up, they're 10 years away from having a nuclear bomb. So I think we can move beyond this.
Very well said.
Yeah, and before we go, we've got just less than a minute left. I just want to actually bring Israel into the conversation too, because Trump had that call with the Gulf leadership and then had a separate call with Bibi Netanyahu. They weren't all together, one big happy family there. But how is Israel going to be feeling about this deal, and what do you think is most important to them here, Darin?
Well, I think first and foremost, they would love to not have us move at all on the nuclear part and on the Strait. That seems to be a given. What they're concerned about is whether or not any hands get tied on their part with regards to their ability to affect Hezbollah, Hamas, and all the different proxy forces that Iran has. That's probably their main focus, as long as Iran does not, rebuild any kind of drone, missile, or nuclear capacity, which I don't see them doing anytime soon. So now it's all about really timing. And if we return to hostilities, what would Israel do, and what would those proxies potentially do?
We know that President Trump is not happy with Iran. He's getting impatient here with what the situation is, so we'll wait to see what happens next. Fred Fleitz, Darin Gaub, great to have you both here. We appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Good to be here.
Thanks.